And 3, 2, we are live. Jack, it's episode 12 of the No One Told Me Hockey podcast. What's going on?
I can't even keep up with the numbers that we're on.
I know.
Number 12, I'm surprised you even remember that.
I got it written down.
Oh, that's you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, dang, I didn't even know what episode we're on today. I'm doing pretty good. Dude, we're still getting dumped on with snow. Like, it's unbelievable. We're surpassing a 40-year record right now. We're up in the mountains are at 766 inches for the year right now.
I think we escaped. I think we escaped the winter in Boston area. I mean, I'm north of Boston, but kind of out of Boston. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the weather this week. It looks like we are 50s to 60s.
You say
and
that
sunny
now.
And cloudy.
You say that.
I'm going to be digging my car out come tomorrow.
You say that. It's always like 50s, 60s, and then next thing you know, it's back down to like 0 degrees and like 10 inches of snow. The Midwest and the East Coast are brutal with that. You can't trust it.
I had the biggest rookie mistake last week. It was snowing bad, like over the night. I propped up my like windshield wipers and everything. I go out the next morning. I was not dressed to be digging out my car.
Oh yeah,
I had like my dress pants on.
Yeah.
I had dress shoes on because I was going somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was slipping, sliding. I didn't have gloves. People were laughing at me.
Dude, the dress shoes,
hot start to the day.
Dress shoes are dangerous in the snow.
Lethal. They were loafers too, because they were loafers because the snow's getting in the loafer. Right now I got
Did you have a sock
in
on?
My loafer.
Did you have a sock on?
Yes. A nice thin set of socks.
Was it like one of those socks, like a no-show sock though? Or was it like was it like a high sock?
Yeah, it was like a mid-calf dress sock,
okay,
but the issue was it was so thin that I was wet when I was done digging out my car. And I'm like being wet going to work. No, I was going to work.
You were going to work. Oh.
Yeah.
Those are the worst, dude, when you go outside and you're just not prepared for the snow. Like sometimes I don't even know it snowed. And then I'm like in a hurry to leave and I can walk outside. I'm like, oh shit, dude, I got to clean off my whole car.
That was brutal.
Oh, dude. There's nothing worse than a snow battle on the car.
No, it's the worst thing. I'm kind of learning the tricks of the trades though, right? Like first thing you got to do is you got to wipe off the driver's side door. You got to get in the driver's side door and you got to turn that guy on
right away.
Then you got to crank the AC so that I'm going to be freezing when I'm done digging out my car. Yep. I want to get into a nice warm car.
I turn the heat seater on right away.
Yeah.
Throw on the back and front defrost. Crank it.
That's exactly right. I'm starting to learn the tricks of the trade.
So I go back and forth between this. Are you a guy who like when you clear it off, so you got like a layer of ice, right? Are you just doing enough so you can see, or are you doing like a full? Because some people will scrape off like every piece of ice. I'm doing just enough to get by so I can see.
It's a good question. So right now, as of today, I think I've evolved. I was a just enough to get by guy.
Comes with age.
But here's why I've evolved to a full go guy. I got on the highway and somebody in front of me was a just enough to get by guy.
Yeah.
I got ice chunks flying off the top of their car on the highway. Doof, doof, right into my windshield. I'm like, I don't want to set the next person up for failure here. Like you could start an accident.
Yeah. Or when there's like a bunch of snow on someone's car and it's just flying off the top right into the car.
Right into the car. And then the trucks are brutal, right? Because they'll drop off a huge ice thing right off.
Or
like onto our windshield.
How about when like trucks, like they're carrying like gravel and they don't have any cover on the top and like rocks are just flying off at your windshield. It's like there's got to be a law in place for that. I'm sure there is, but
I got a love-hate relationship. With trucks though, because when it's kind of nice, right? When it's raining, kind of nice to be behind one, right? It's kind of clearing the way. Same when it's snowing. But if they're throwing rocks at my windshield,
I got a problem.
Look out.
Yeah, seriously.
So what's been going on?
Nothing. I mean, same old every week when we hop on the pod. Men's league, skiing, and work. That's pretty much it. Championship game in an hour and 40 minutes here, men's league. So we won't get into it though, because we get into it every week. But
yeah, it is every week.
Hour and 40 minutes till puck drop. We got waxed last game. So I'm looking for a big comeback here for the championship. So
I like that. Good
How
luck.
about you? How
Good
about
luck.
you? What are we up to?
I've been running around.
I've
been running. I was in Providence. I was recruiting. We had a lot of junior league championships and playoffs were this weekend. So I caught the EHL Frozen Four. I caught an NCDC playoff game. I was at Harvard this morning and then met my friend for lunch. And now I'm finally back. So put a good 500 miles on the car, but I made it back.
You think you put that many miles on it?
Yeah, because I went Bedford, New Hampshire, which is where I live.
Yeah.
I went all the way to Providence, Providence to Newport, Newport to Providence, Providence to Foxborough, back to Newport, to Boston, back home.
How many miles is it from where you are in Bedford to Providence?
It is about an hour and a half.
It's like straight south. Is it like straight south pretty much?
Yeah, through the city, yeah.
Oh my God, you've been hauling miles out in the East Coast.
Miles, a lot of music.
Are you a music guy or podcast guy?
I alternate, I do, but this trip was a music trip.
It was. Sometimes you're just in the mood for a different vibe.
Yeah, I needed it.
Yeah, sometimes
some good songs.
Sometimes I like stress myself out with some of the podcasts. Like I'm like learning too much and it's like overloading my brain. I just need to decompress with a good like Billy Joel song or something.
Yeah, sometimes it's like too much, like you said, too much learning, but also like I find myself listening so much, I'm not paying attention to what's going on the road.
Yeah,
so I gotta dial it in.
That's what happens with me with audiobooks too. Like I'll be listening and then I'll be like, I didn't like register the last 10 minutes because I was thinking about other things. So I have to like turn it off and like reset because then I'm just not comprehending anything.
I just saw a video, a guy driving a Tesla. He's a basketball player at UCLA. So he's got the Tesla front camera going so he can kind of see what's going on in front of him.
Yeah.
Car in the left lane is like going pretty fast, right? Like the passing lane. Car in the middle lane, front left tire pops off, goes under the hood of the fast car, shoots this car about 25 feet in the air. Car, like something out of a movie. Like, you know what? Like you're going fast enough that the tire like shoots the car in the air.
Right.
Car crashes. The person walks away, thankfully, like was able to walk away from the crash.
Oh my God.
I now have developed a new fear though, because I've watched this video. I don't want anybody's tire popping off and shooting me into the sky.
It really put him into the sky that high?
Into the sky. I'm talking like something out of a Batman movie accident.
Wow, I'm surprised like that tire has enough force to do that. That's crazy.
Well, they're probably going, you got to think, he's going 80.
Right.
The other guy's going like 80. The tire like shoots off and now the tire is coming at you.
Yeah.
And it just launches this car. Anyway, you guys could look it up. I don't know. Listeners, it's on UCLA Twitter.
That's crazy. That's so wild. I just saw a thing. Okay, now I don't even know what sport it is or what it was, but another college athlete just got in trouble for something with like some sort of crime. And it's like a big time player, like at a big time school. I just don't understand. Like, did you hear about those kids on the Alabama basketball team?
No, what happened on the Alabama basketball team?
So there's one of their star players, and like they were a good team this year. They were number 1 seed in the tournament. One of their star players dropped 2 of their players off at like a bar. And then he went home. One of the kids texts him. He goes, "Hey, I need my gun. It's in your car." So he's like, okay, like it's his gun. Like I'm going to go drop it off for him. So he went and gave the gun to the kid because it's his and it's legally registered to him. That kid and another kid went and like got in a fight. And the other friend ended up shooting someone with the gun and like killed someone. And now like, I think those kids were both on Alabama. So they're in legal trouble. And then like the star player, like people were like protesting to get him in trouble because he dropped the gun off and stuff. But it's like, he didn't do anything wrong. Like he just dropped, like it's the kid's legal gun, you know? But
yeah, like, that is
man, you have so much going for you.
Like, yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Yeah. Or like the stuff with John Morant. Have you seen that stuff?
Yeah, that's messed up. I think did we talk about that in the last pod? I think we may have.
We might have, or just privately we talked about it, but
yeah, that's just messed up. I don't know.
I think those are ways of like, I think he said it too, like a way for like, that's how like some people like deal with stress. Like it's a cry for help almost, you know, like when, you know.
Yeah, you think about it. It's like, it's just a combination of bad decisions leads you to that point of the night, right? Not in general.
Right.
And then you're at a spot where you can't really get out of it. I'm assuming. I've never been in that position.
Yeah.
But then you forget, right? You're a role model to so many. John Morant, you're on the Charlotte. With Charlotte? Is he on Charlotte?
No, he's on Memphis.
Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis.
Oh boy. Bad look for me. I am a basketball fan.
Yeah.
So, but like, regardless.
And if alcohol's involved, like, you get wrapped up in that so easily. Next thing you know, you're not thinking straight. And it's pretty crazy, though. That's a shame for those players. All right. So you texted me earlier this week, right? I think it was yesterday, right? Was it yesterday?
Oh, it was tough. This was a tough one.
You texted me saying you fell down the stairs. And I asked what happened. You still didn't tell me what happened.
It was a tough one. I'm going to start at the top here. I have little notes about the actual story right next to me.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It was bad. So I wake up. We had a nice night, right? I was with my buddy. We stayed in Newport because I was recruiting in Providence. I got to see him. We played youth hockey together, right?
Sick. So we talk
about. Is
that the one? Is that the?
It's awesome. Where Salve is. You know Salve?
Where Salve. Oh, dude. Newport's so sick.
Awesome. So I got to see him. We played youth hockey together. So we talk about relationships, right? Somebody I've known my whole life.
Yeah.
We get to the house, right? We watch all the college hockey games, which we're going to get into in a minute. I stand up out of bed. I'm in a good mood, right? I'm ready to start the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not realize that I have socks on. Well, I do realize that I have socks on, but I'm not really thinking about it.
You sleep with socks on? You sleep with socks on?
I don't sleep with socks on. That's ridiculous. I have socks on.
Okay.
And he lives in a wood house.
Uh-huh.
A wood house. Anybody who lives in a wood house with stairs knows socks and stairs do not go together, especially when they're steep. So what do?
Oh, no.
I take 2 steps. It's probably, I want to say there's probably 18 steps, right? It's a steep house.
Yeah. Is it one of those older houses? Because like some of those older houses, those stairs are like practically like a cliff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly like a cliff.
About. Yeah.
So I slip on the first step, right? Probably a step down, 2 steps down. Yeah. And it's like slow motion almost. Tumble down these stairs. I slip on my right side. Right now, I'm a righty. My left leg is a little bit more stable. So in this split second moment, I need to make a decision. I rotate to the left. So I've fallen on my right hip. My right hip hurts.
Yeah.
I rotate to the left. Now my left elbow is on the stairs and I'm kind of sliding down.
Yeah.
I cannot get myself back to my feet. I can't. Yeah. So I go from step 17 to step 0. Into the door. Like the door is at the bottom.
Oh no.
So I somersault into the door onto my back.
What?
Now, meanwhile, him and his girlfriend are downstairs. His mom is on the phone. All I hear is he okay?
Oh,
my buddy's doesn't know whether to laugh or call the ambulance. I've now fallen down the stairs. I've slid down the stairs like a cartoon into the wall, and I'm just laying there. I don't know if I'm hurt at this point.
You can't assess it yet. You're in shock.
You know when it takes a second when you're and then the pain comes. It's and then the pain. Yeah, that's where I was at. So the pain starts coming.
The adrenaline was in.
Luckily, I'm okay. But if I was, I don't know, I would give myself just a bad day. If it was a bad day for me, I could be out for the season. I could have broken everything in my body. A grandpa?
Oh, dude, I know. That's my biggest fear. When I get older, a stair fall. Oh, when's the last time you fell down the stairs before that?
Never. That I've never had that experience ever. That was when I don't know. I mean, I'm doing my best. I want the listeners to imagine here in their minds the cascade of steps.
Cascade.
I am going on my butt down this thing.
Yeah.
All the way, and then I somersault into the. It was horrible. So don't be running around as much as I was this weekend. That's probably what led to it.
I thought you fell at the rink. I was hoping it was a rink story. You're scouting and now you got a scout falling down the stairs. Kid automatically decommits from the school.
Okay. I do have I'm going to go on another quick story here.
Yeah.
I think I may have told this on here already. I was on a visit in my dress shoes when it was snowing. I fell face first on the visit. I didn't tell you this. I was walking a kid around, right, showing him the campus, like basically just giving him a tour.
Right.
I slip in my dress shoes, like Frozone from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
I'm dancing on this ice. I fall face first into the snow.
No.
And I like get up and I just wear it. It was bad. It was really bad. I had like snow on my face. I'm like wiping it off my face.
Was it just you two? Just you and the kid?
Yeah, just me and the kid, and like I think a kid on the team. It's tough.
Oh,
it happens. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody.
It does. It does. All right, so let's get into this. So right now, actually, we have the Quinnipiac and Ohio State game currently on. Oh, Quinnipiac won 4-1.
There we go. ECAC making a move.
So they won. They probably got empty netter, maybe 2 empty netters.
No, it looks like I had it on the like in my behind us.
Yeah,
and it looks like they shot it. The goalie made a save, but his glove was behind the line.
Oh,
so that was the third goal. Yeah,
no way.
So then empty net fourth. Yeah.
Okay. So we got college hockey playoffs going on right now, Division I, Division III, and junior hockey. So I want to talk to you about this. Like, obviously, college hockey's format is completely different than the NHL and whatnot. And by the scores of the game, it can seriously be lopsided on one way or the other. So I want to get your take on the biggest difference between the NHL's playoffs and college hockey playoffs.
That's a good question. I thought about that too, right? I've been watching a lot. It is hard to answer. And you know what? Like at some degree, right? We both played it. We've been in playoff situations. And it's hard to criticize guys that are still playing. Like you watch guys on Twitter just roast these guys. Like these kids, I mean, they're younger than us.
Yeah. And some of them are 18 years old. Some of them are 18 years old.
The kid defenseman on BU, Lane Hudson, he's 04. He's got 50 points as a 04 defenseman.
Is he a
freshman?
Oh my
freshman D. Hobie Baker coming at you.
It's
crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, to a certain extent, and I want to say this across all sports, right? March Madness too,
right?
Is I think there is you do see more mistakes, right? Some things where it's like that may not happen at the pro level, and then the same thing you're watching the juniors. It's like that may not happen at the college level. So I think you see a bit more mistakes, and I know that they've been talking about this on Twitter and Instagram, right? The crowd could be a factor in these games, right? In the NHL, it definitely is, right? Those home games are huge.
Yeah.
If you could steal one on the road, like that is awesome. And you kind of see it with these student sections, right? Like Minnesota, Quinnipiac even just had a good showing.
Quinnipiac had one. Penn State probably will right now.
Yeah, Michigan, the big schools, if they can bring some fans, like that is a game changer. So it's been so exciting to watch. But I think for me, my biggest difference is you see a bit more mistakes and not not huge costly mistakes, but mistakes that lead to icings, offsides, right? It's a little bit more sloppy, but that goes across all levels, right? Like U16 to junior, junior to college to pro. What do you think?
I don't know. It's tough to like narrow it down. It's just so different because I mean, a 1-game series versus a 7-game series, like one mistake can end your whole season. Whereas like in the NHL, you have a little bit, like you still have to be a solid team overall to win a 7-game series. But, some of these mistakes can you'll be fine without making, but like there's just so much pressure on the one game format. So I got this question because I want to ask you this first. Do you think they should do it where I think women's hockey does this, where it's like the top seeds host at their rinks or neutral site?
I don't know. To be honest, I actually prefer the neutral site. I really do. Like people want it, I think, because of the student sections, right? And like you look at, the Manchester regional and the certain regionals, and they're not full. Yeah. Like I do get that, right? Like you want people in the stands, but I like the neutral site.
I do too. I think it just adds a cool dynamic to it. Like putting it in different areas, kind of levels it out, but also gives the opportunity for people maybe from those areas to, go catch college games where they like. I remember for me, I think there was a tournament in Illinois and they don't have any Division I team. And this was just like a regular, whatever, mid-season tournament. And it was like North Dakota and Notre Dame and stuff. And it was so cool to go watch that because like we don't have any Division I games around us. So for people to go watch those games for like a good price and stuff, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And I think if you put a top team like number 1 seed versus a Atlantic school in the top school's rank, it's going to be even worse of a beating.
It'd be interesting. It would be interesting. I mean, now look, those Atlantic schools do throughout the season in their out of conference games go to some of those places.
Yeah,
and not just. I mean, look, Atlantic hockey's great too. Like could be anybody, Hockey East, anybody, right? They go to different top seeds. But I think that like if you were to put, I don't know, I'll use Union because it's where I went. Like I'll just use my school.
Yeah.
Right. If you Union at North Dakota in the playoffs, right, you hope that it's going to be a great game, but I do think the crowd's going to play a bit more factor, just as if North Dakota came to us or anybody, like any school going to any school. I do think that plays a role, especially, and I would say that in juniors, right, you do experience that. Now there is a bit more of a series sometime where you're playing them in a best of 3. But like we said, like, I don't know, a couple minutes ago, if you could steal those games in the other team's barn, like you are headed home feeling great.
Right. So I think one of the biggest difference is in college compared to NHLs. So obviously NHL, like all the teams are fairly even. Like in terms of like, you know, drafts and salary caps and stuff, that kind of helps even out the playing field in the NHL. In college, like there's nothing stopping the 20 best players in the whole, you know, world that can play college hockey for all being on the same team and being out there at once versus like a smaller school who doesn't have the same recruiting. And it's like, they could be in the tournament against each other. And
well, you do. And you do see it. Like, even now, like forecasting a couple of years, you look at like a program like the Chicago Steel, right? A higher end USHL program. They have, I think, 5 North Dakota commits.
It's crazy.
So all 5 of those players who are really, really good players are going to end up on the same team.
Yeah.
And you look at like the national program, right? BU, Wisconsin, BC, Harvard, they kind of dominate those commitments. So you have like this great development for 2 years, and then here you go. Take 6 of our guys. You got 6 guys who have played together for 2 years, and they rip it up.
Yeah. And it's just like there's no way in college hockey, or even like you see it in every college sport, you see it, where it's like you can't even out the playing field like you can at the pro levels. And that's why, I mean, like some of these teams are winning their conferences to go to the tournament. But then once they get, you know, against some of these big dog teams, it's like, it's not even close. Yeah. And those kids are good players too. Like, I mean, those kids are who are making the tournament in those conference championships. Like, those are good teams. It's just like these
I'd like
top
to see,
teams are just insane.
I would like to see. I think that this year, especially, right, the goal differentials. I think the Big Ten added up to 25 goals for in the first round. The CCHA added up to 0 goals for. Right?
Really?
But these are out. Yeah, because Michigan State or not Michigan State. Sorry, Michigan Tech. Michigan Tech and Mankato both didn't score. Now, these are outlier games, right? Like if these teams, if Minnesota State plays against St. Cloud again, right? The odds that St. Cloud wins 4-0, and same with Tech playing Penn State, right? The odds that it's 8-1 or 8-0, whatever it was 8-0,
right?
Right, like these are not consistent scores. So,
but if you look at like the Canisius one, that you might
Canisius plays Minnesota a couple times. Yeah. But then again, right, like I don't know. Like I think that this has been a bad representation of how competitive college hockey is. Like, and here's why I think I have a reason for that. But you go. Do you say what you want to say?
I was going to say. I mean, if you look at a couple of years ago, like AIC knocked off St. Cloud. You know, so I mean, there are times when like some of those lower ranked teams in the tournament will, you know, really compete with those teams. And I think when those teams are competing, I think it's because they're like older, really experienced college hockey players, you know, whereas like they'll play some of these younger teams and it's like they almost out experience them in terms of like discipline and structure, work ethic, maybe, I don't know, but like it almost seems like they're more experienced older guys when they do compete more with those top teams.
Yeah, 100%. I would say, right, and I think that this may be a reason for these exaggerated scores, right? You look at the stakes of these games, right? Your whole season is on the line, and everybody's played in games like this, right? Whether it be growing up or in juniors or in college, right? But especially, right, these college playoff games, right? This year, you're competing for a national championship here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on any team, I would argue that you got about, I don't know, 10% of guys that are just like, get me out of here. They don't, even if they're playing a ton, even if they're not like, even if they're playing, like, they're just like, get me out of here. Like, I want to go on vacation. Like that just happens, right? Every team's got those guys. Then you got probably 70% of guys that are somewhere in the middle where they're like, you know, like I could go on this vacation, but like it'd be cool if we won too. Like, there's a lot of guys that are like
tough,
that.
It's tough timing with the playoffs and with spring break, and it's right in. So
you got 70. I'm gonna give 70% of the guys are somewhere in the middle. Then you got 20% of the guys that are like, yo, let's win this. Like we're not even thinking of anything else. So when the stakes are risen, that 70% who may be leaning more toward the get me out of here side, right? When adversity starts to hit and a team goes down 2-3-0, then it's like, oh my God, like I need to do everything to score, or, oh, just get us out of here, right? We don't really think in terms of like team performance, whereas those top 20% may be like, all right, like we're still in this, like we're one shot away.
Yeah.
So say you get a bad combination of guys on the ice, now it's 4-0. Then it's 5-0. Maybe there's a penalty. Yeah. Now it's 6-0. And then everybody's just like, besides maybe 2 or 3 guys, is like, okay, like we got to get out of here.
Yeah, let's hear the horn for the third period. That is
exactly.
Yeah, that is tough when you go down, like, especially in a 1-game series, you go down 4-5-0 with
and then you add empty net, right? There's probably an empty net, 7-0. Like it just adds up.
Yeah,
it really does.
That definitely is a problem with like in college, especially. I mean, for D3, it's even more escalated because like there's less riding on D3 hockey. In terms of like advancing out of it, like it's right in line with spring break, and kids are like,
in terms of advancing college to pro. Because
like kids aren't as like, they would almost rather go on the spring break than
you fight with that too, right? The percentages may be different.
Like if they know they're matching up against the top team in the country for playoffs, and they're like, well, we're not going to win, and we could be done a week earlier to go to spring break. It's a tough. It's
difficult.
Balance.
It's difficult, and and every team fights with it, and I'm sure even pro guys fight with it too, right? Like, I'm sure there's some guys. The same thing in the business world, right? I'm sure there's guys that are like, all right, let's just get to Christmas break or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's been interesting. I do want to say, and this is, I've always thought about this, but I think that this is something that attracts people to sports in general, right? You say somebody does make a mistake, the camera always goes to this poor guy who's just made a mistake, who's like having a tough time. He's going to think about this forever. Yeah. The camera's right on this guy, and maybe it bounces back and forth. Right? I don't love that. I don't love that in college. I don't love that in pro. I never have. Right? You have empathy for the person. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't know. That's something I've been seeing a ton in the playoffs.
I think, like, say someone capitalized on the mistake, like focus on the person who like caused the mistake almost, you know? Yeah, I totally agree. I think that sucks. Like, I mean, granted, you don't know that the camera's on you.
They do it for injury too.
Yeah. The only time they don't do it for injury is if it's like pretty bad. But
dude, but even last night or a couple nights ago when Colgate played Michigan, right? Samoskevich took a butt end, I think it was, in the third period. This kid's like in pain on the ground, like God bless, and the camera's in his face. I'm like, get the camera out of here, like, buddy. Like, we don't care what ESPN Plus thinks about this.
That's just like, I mean, I will say the NFL does a pretty good job of that. Like, if someone gets hurt, they like pan away from it. And they won't really show it. But that's just probably like, just because like in terms of college hockey, like ESPN, like it's probably some like B squad doing the game. Like it's not.
The squad's probably doing the NHL game.
Yeah, they're like covering March Madness or something.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's a Jim who has a Slim Jim in his mouth. Oh, this guy looks like he'd be good TV.
Yeah. So they got B squad in, so that's probably why they're doing that. But who do you got winning it all here? You're a little bit more versed in the a little bit more in tune with the teams, so you might have some good questions.
So right now I have the remaining teams are Michigan is going to play Penn State, and the winner of that is going to play Quinnipiac in the Frozen Four. The other side of the Frozen Four, we have Boston University versus Minnesota. On the already set side, I'm going to say that Minnesota advances to the championship. I've watched them a couple times. They're high scoring offense. They're incredibly skilled. And
They
just
fly.
on D, they have so many good defensemen that are mobile and move the puck. So I'm going to go with Minnesota. Nothing against BU. I mean, it would be great to see them win too. On the East, I guess it's technically kind of the East side of the bracket. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology.
Yeah.
There is I guess from the regionals, I'm going to say that Michigan wins the Penn State game. And
I think so.
I have friends on Quinnipiac, and I hate to say this, and I hope that if my friend on Quinnipiac could have a hat trick and they lose 4-3, that would be a good prediction. But
right.
I do think Michigan will win that. I just watched Quinnipiac against Ohio State. I thought that they did a nice job defensively. They always have. And they held a high-scoring offense to 1 goal. So you never know, but I'm going to say we have a Michigan versus Minnesota final, and I think that Minnesota gets revenge from the Big Ten championship, and Minnesota takes the championship.
Dang. Okay. I wonder, so do you know how many guys Michigan and Minnesota, like how many guys they have under like 21 years old?
I'm not totally sure on that. There are some outliers. I would say if you looked at the average, because you do have some 03, 04 freshmen, not a lot, but it would be interesting to look at that number. Sometimes on College Hockey News, the website, you can look at average ages. I would say that they are probably on the younger side.
Who? Michigan or both?
Probably Minnesota more so than Michigan.
Okay.
But yeah, because I know Michigan has some like seniors / grads that are kind of on my age.
Yeah. I know one of them.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
I was thinking about this. If you had to pick, so I want to do this with the NHL. I want to test this theory when the playoffs come around because we'll have a little bit more time to go through it. And I want to make an Excel sheet and see how this plays out. But what do you think the 3 most important things are for playoff hockey?
That's a great question. Yeah. I'm going with number 1. Well, okay. Each of these could probably be a whole podcast, but
I know once we get into the NHL one, like playoffs, we'll dive into them. But I was just thinking off the top, like just spitballing.
I'm going to say your team needs number 1, a game breaker, whether that's a goalie, whether that's a forward or a D, somebody who could change the game, right? So you look at the college game right now, right? Each of these teams has a Hobie Baker nominee. I think that Minnesota actually has 3 that are in the top 10, Snuggerud, Nyes, and Cooley. Wow. Quinnipiac has Graf, Michigan has Hughes, and BU has Hudson. So everybody has a game breaker.
Yeah.
Quinnipiac also have Peretz as well.
He's a goalie. Is he a Hobie Baker finalist this year again?
Top 10, yeah. The hat trick, when they do the 3, hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So each of these teams has a game breaker. I would say number 2, you got to have the willingness to sacrifice everything. So example, right? We just watched the Quinnipiac game. Stephen Holiday, he's a draft pick of the Senators. He's on Ohio State, freshman, unbelievable player. Yeah. Absolutely cranked a one-timer into TJ Friedman, Quinnipiac, ankle. Just sacrificed it, electrifies the bench. It kind of turned the tide of the game. So I'd say willingness to compete at number 2. And I would say 3, right? The ability to manage what's going on. Like the last thing you need is you get scored on and you think you're the worst team in the entire world. Or you score and you're like, oh my God, we're going to win the championship. So I think that combination, is what I'm going with for my
tough. It's tough when you have play on an emotional team where it's if you guys get scored on, everyone drops their head, or if you guys go up, everyone starts with
the best team in the world.
Yeah, going away from the game plan almost and starts doing their own thing. That's tough. Playing on an emotional team like that.
One of the best quotes I ever heard was somebody said, "Play with emotion, not emotional." I really like that.
Right.
Play with emotion, but not emotional, right? Care about what you're doing, care about your teammates. But defend your teammates, right? If that's a situation. But if the ref calls an icing, we don't need to be chewing the ref's ear off.
Yeah, every time.
Because it was an icing.
It's sometimes every single call, someone's in the ref's ear about it.
Yeah.
Every little thing. So, all right, I want you to rank these for me in terms of playoffs.
Okay.
Save percentage, power play percentage, PK percentage. To win a series, rank them 1 to 3 on.
That's good. That's really good. I'm going to say I got the special teams at 1 and 2, the save percentage at 3. But I don't I can't really decide. I think back to some former playoff series. Tampa's power play is just so good in past playoffs that I'm going to go with number one being the power play. You get 8 power plays. If you could put up 3 goals, this is a game changing. So
especially in playoffs especially in playoffs when you don't get that many as like a regular season game. Yes. You can capitalize on those. I was on NHL.com the other day and I was looking at like the power play percentages, and Boston's is like insane. How many goals they score.
Yeah.
And it's like
Boston.
If you look at, all the top teams in the conferences have the highest power play percentages.
Yeah. Harvard, Denver, St. Cloud, they all did really, really well in power play.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know which one, because then, at the same time, like if your penalty kill can.
Yeah, if your penalty kill shuts it too. They go hand in hand, but at the end of the day, right? Special teams is, if you could win the special teams battle, if you can get a goal, same with like a face-off, right? If you can get a face-off goal, say you get one face-off goal, you get one special teams goal and a 5-on-5 goal, you've scored 3 goals in the game.
Right.
That's huge.
Uh-huh.
You're up 3-0. You're essentially, right, given the circumstances, up 3-0 in a game that you never know what the end score is going to be. So I don't know. That's a great point. I got a good one for you here.
Okay.
If you could build a playoff team, would you rather have? Well, okay, that's not really great. Pick one, I guess. I'm going to have you pick one. Enforcer, defensive forward, or high speed offensive forward. Basically, are you going with McDavid? Are you going with like Maroon? Or like that type of player, or like defensive Patrice Bergeron
for my whole roster. Like if you had to pick, how about if you had to?
I would probably pick out of those. But I'd probably pick a whole roster of Patrice Bergeron, like a defensive forward.
I could see it, right? Like you'd
versus
rather
a whole roster of McDavid. That's a hot take, but
maybe McDavid might be a stretch. Maybe what about this one might be like a extreme, but like someone like Patrick Kane.
Okay.
Like a whole team of Patrick Kanes.
Who would win?
A whole team of Bergerons.
Whole team of Bergeron versus whole team of Patrick Kane. Who's winning? That's a great question.
I don't know.
Whole team of Sidney Crosby. Whole team of Alex Ovechkin.
Oh, Crosby all day, I think.
Really? You're going against 800 goals?
Dude,
800.
Who's going to pass? Who's gonna pass?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's worked out fine.
You think Ovechkin, a whole team of Ovechkins would win over Crosby's?
No, but if you get one power play, look out. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I don't know. If you had to pick one player in the NHL for a full roster, who would it be?
I'm going with Sidney Crosby.
You can't. I
can't be Crosby?
No, it can, but you just asked the question of Ovi versus Crosby, and then you're like,
but then I would just be, I'm feeding the fire here. We got a podcast, so listeners, we got to be.
Dude, what? Okay,
yeah, so somebody's in the car. I'm going with Sidney Crosby. Maybe McDavid, but I'm going with Crosby right now.
Okay. Ooh, I don't know. I would go like me. I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. Speaking of McDavid,
I was going to say Taze in his prime. But
that's a good one.
Because like he's really good defensively, and like
he is good
in his prime. He was buzzing out there.
He is good. Speaking of McDavid, you said you were watching some McDavid goals recently.
Yeah. So I'll run through this. So on NHL.com, like after he scored his 60th goal on the season, which is absolutely insane.
It's a lot. It's a
lot
of
72
goals.
games, 60 goals in 72 games, which is crazy. So they did a compilation of them on NHL.com where you can watch all 60 of them.
Okay.
Right. And I was watching them, and I was trying to watch them like with a purpose. Like, what could I pull out of these that like to take away? Like what is he doing that like is allowing him to score so much? And obviously he has some unreal goals where he uses his speed, changes direction. Like those ones are kind of obvious because you see it, like he's just blazing by guys and getting to the net. But one thing I really noticed, and especially was on line rushes specifically. So he gets a lot of line rush he has the puck a lot on line rushes. One thing I really noticed about it is every time, I mean, there's a couple of them where he like snipes, like top right or top left, but for the most part, every time he's on a line rush, he's looking 5-hole or he's looking just above the pad at the post, like almost every time. And the amount of 5-hole goals he scored is crazy, dude.
You want to hear my why I think that's the case for the 5-hole goals? Yeah, I think he is moving so fast that the goalies are. This is what I think. I think the goalies are having trouble adjusting their speed to right where they're either overstepping, which is opening up the 5-hole, and he's just waiting for that. Right, he's just staring. He's like, wait for them to step. Yeah, or if you think about it, if you're moving fast enough, right?
I don't think there's
everything. Yeah, everything low is going to be open because the goalie's like trying to adjust to you.
He can't. So I think it's his set. He can't set his feet and like just play you because they're moving still, so it's like hard for them to drop down into their butterfly.
It is such a poised goal too. Like, see if you can slip it,
God, dude.
Like right between the goalie's legs is like one of the most poised plays a forward can make.
It was blowing my mind watching those. I was like, it was like 3 in a row. He went 5-hole on like a line rush. And I'm like,
yeah, sometimes they're like not even fast. Sometimes they're not even fast shots. They're like,
no,
here you go.
Yeah. And then the other one, like he was shooting the amount of times he went on the shot on the left side, far post above the pad, like automatic.
Which for most goalies is a blocker because you're not a full right. He's a lefty. Yeah.
Yeah. So blocker side, post in. And
every time.
Nice. And like obviously he has those goals where it's, razzle dazzle or like flying by guys and whatever, but I was like trying to pick out other things other than those goals, and that was the one thing I noticed was like it seemed like he was shooting with the purpose. And the other thing I noticed too, but like I made a video about that and that was easy to talk about, but the other one was like he scores so many goals just putting himself on that backside post.
Yeah, go to the front of the net.
If the puck's on the other side of the net, like especially on their power play, but he's always on that opposite side bearing rebounds in.
Yeah.
Like just so sneaky about getting in that area and lost. In that backdoor
his ability
area.
I was thinking about this morning, right? Like I was talking to some guys that have played at a high level and very like Division I and pro guys. And they were saying, I said to them, more so the pro guys is what I wanted to talk to them about was what really is separating right, the next level player, like the Crosbys and the McDavids and the Gretzkys, right? And the answer that we kind of came to, like there's a lot of back and forth, but to make it kind of simple, was like their ability to think the game is superior. Now, it's not that they've been gifted some superpower. I think, and I'll never know this, right? Because Gretzky, he saw the puck ahead of where it was going to go. Yeah, okay, maybe, right? I don't know. Never met Gretzky, never talked to him. Barely seen him play, which is sad.
Yeah.
I think it's that they are giving conscious effort while they're on the ice to thinking where they're going to be. Right. So for example, right, you watch like Crosby, for example, right? He'll pick off a pass. It's not like he was given a superpower. Oh, that guy was definitely passing there. It's like, no, he's analyzing the ice and he's thinking like hard about that. Yeah.
Have you ever, I think I talked about this though, like during practice, like if you can just dial in and be conscious of like every little thing that you're doing and stuff, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like you're really thinking, like it's like almost like you're studying for like a test or you're in the test, right?
Yeah.
Like you did all this preparation and now during the test, it's like you're analyzing it all and you're seeing it like so. But I think the thing that separates them is like some guys do that, but they don't do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like they are doing that at all. Like some guys will only do it on like the penalty kill, right?
Yeah.
It's like, for a penalty kill, like a lot of the times you're hyper focused on your positioning out there because that's when it's like super important. But for them, like I know exactly what you're saying. Like they are so like dialed in on like their consciousness and like seeing it develop and really focused on it. But and then their skills take over, and then their skills take over. But their brain is like their skills will naturally do their like skating and stick handling. They don't have to think about that stuff. it's more of like the play developing and the body position and where they're at on the ice is where they're mentally focused.
Yeah. Like you ever see those commercials? You ever see those commercials where it's like some athletes like coming up the field or court and then it like zooms in on their eyes and it's like, doo, 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 like I have all these options.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that this is the case, but I wouldn't put it past some players where it's like a forward's coming down on a rush. He's like, okay, like he could go wide, he could go to the middle, he could go left side. Like they're actually like probably consciously thinking of that.
It's like they're talking what's to someone actually almost. Like they're talking out loud.
Now now look, we're talking like we're just having good conversation here, right? I don't think this is the situation for every player. But I do think that there are some elite level players that are actually like taking in the game, and that's what makes them so great.
No, I totally agree. I think that's a really solid point because I even noticed for like myself, like even when like outside of hockey, just in life in general, but especially in sports, like when you are dialed in on like little things like that, like your body position and stuff, and you're doing it for a long period of time, like your performance is significantly higher than when you're kind of doing it subconsciously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
there's times like I think a good example of this is like there's times like when you're driving. We may have mentioned this before.
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
Where like 20 minutes goes by and you're just like, oh, like I've been driving a car for 20 minutes. Like, where's the time gone? And like realistically, you have been behind like a 2-ton metal box that's going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like you never know it. Like I said earlier, like the wheel could pop off at the guy next to you and you're 20 feet in the sky filming Batman 3 versus like I'm dialed into what's going on and maybe like I have a escape option. I don't know.
That, I mean, the saying is so cliche, like going through the motions, but it is a real thing. Like there's a big difference between being very, conscious of what you're doing versus kind of just out there just to be out there. So I think that's 100%. A really good point in terms of them. I wish like it would be so cool to be able to like test those things, but it's like,
it would be,
you can't.
No, you can't. That's what makes it so cool. I mean, that's what makes high performance athletes like so cool to see, right? Like what really allows McDavid to be at 130 points and Crosby to be at 80. I think, he's at 73 right now. Yeah. I looked at this earlier. That's why I know.
Right.
But I don't just have
dude, also, I will say Draisaitl, if you watch McDavid's goals, dude, his passes
I got one
incredible.
for you. I got one for you. You put Draisaitl on a different team. Is he a top 5 scorer in the league? Like goals and assists combined. Top 5. I want top 5. Right now, he's number 2. He's doing pretty good.
Right.
He's been number 2 for a while, but he's with McDavid. Now, that doesn't mean that if you put me with McDavid, I'm going to be number 2, though.
Right. I think he would be top 10.
I'm going to go with top 10.
5. But he is, dude. I mean, he's good. His ability to create.
Big.
Oh my God. Some of his passes and stuff, and like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's
even
impressive.
That 60th goal, like the one he scored on that.
Oh, yeah.
Like both of those passes, both of the passes. Then he goes and forechecks the guy and makes a pass on one knee onto
complete
his
player.
Yeah,
there you go.
Dude.
Second breakaway.
Do you know? Okay, so I don't watch much of Edmonton, or I don't really watch the NHL. How is he defensively? Because I could see him being purely offense, like red line. And
I'm pretty sure he's like, I would say a bit on the heavier side defensively.
Really?
Yeah, I think he is Matthews-like in terms of blocking shots. I'd have to look at that. I think that's the best stat in the world, that Matthews leads forwards and blocks shots.
I know. I think about the most incredible that quite stat often. Ever. Yeah.
But I'll say it every single podcast because there's kids out there that want to work on their toe drag shot instead of blocking shots. Austin Matthews, the king of the toe drag shot, has
also blocked shots.
A ton of blocks.
Yeah. Do you think Draisaitl would get way more recognition if he was on another team? Because he'd probably be the best player on like
he would be the best player on a lot of teams. But again, the NHL is so good. Like give me a random team right now. Pick like a random team.
I was gonna say Arizona, but I mean Keller's having a pretty good year.
Yeah.
But
like every team has a superstar now. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Carolina. Okay, Svechnikov. Aho. Yeah. Like there's so many.
What about I got one. Blackhawks.
Well, it was Patrick Kane. It was Max Domi.
Yeah.
They both traded. Taze, I guess he's still there.
He's not. He's borderline retired.
Yeah. Let me think.
He hasn't played in a while.
Is Seth Jones on the Blackhawks?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, yeah, he's an all-star.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Every team has a star.
For sure. But like Draisaitl's at another level though, almost. Like in terms of like star-wise, like and like producing. I mean, he's electric. He's very, very talented, which is nice. Right. Okay. So I had another question, but it totally blanked on me. So you got anything?
I don't know. I think that's all on McDavid, and we got some playoff action. Mm-hmm. I talked about, I did want to mention this, going back to the playoffs a bit, right? A lot of people on social media, especially like Twitter, will blame an individual for a mistake. For example, I don't know, you're watching a game, a D-man like either falls down or like has a bad like defensive stick. And then Twitter, right? So Minnesota will tweet like, great goal by Minnesota. And then the replies are like, what was blank doing? And like, you're like 50.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, the comments are brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal. But I like want to emphasize, like as a hockey like player, right? There is a lot that goes on to a goal that the average person doesn't see. Like, you could be, maybe you are playing a rush, but maybe you are the primary error, right? Maybe you did get walked. But, right, likely there's a turnover that's led to that. Likely maybe there's a bad change that's led to that. Maybe your D partner is gapped out. Maybe your goalie's off his angle, right? There's so much that goes on. And sometimes you just see, especially right now, right? You got March Madness, you got, I don't know, like for example, the Virginia March Madness thing where the guy threw the ball in the air.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Everybody's blaming this guy. Everybody's like, what was he doing? All right, yeah. And what was he doing? Right. But where was everybody defensively? Where were his options to pass to? Did somebody tell him beforehand to hold it? Right. Like there's 5 guys. I don't know. Yeah, basketball's 5. Right. There's 5 guys going like involved. And it's pretty much every time. It's not just a singular breakdown. So I wanted to circle back to that.
No, that's a great point because like you said, like a turnover that should have probably never even happened in the first place. Like that turnover could have been avoided by like a dump puck, like very easy thing to avoid. And now that turnover leads to, a line rush and you walked or whatever. So like, yeah, you were the primary focus on that, but like you almost shouldn't even have been in that position in the first place.
Yeah.
Like but at the same time, like the guy who made the turnover, who knows what happened before that. So it's just like compound effects, really. I think when mistakes happen, it's usually a compound effect. Yeah, it's usually not just like one little play.
Absolutely. No, that's the right term to describe it, right? A lot of things have added up to this.
Or you were on like a long shift because your player didn't get the puck deep. It could just be so many different things. Like you could be tired because you're out there for a minute and 15 because your winger couldn't chip the puck out. Now you're playing the best player in the world coming down at you full speed. And I get one more question I want to talk to you about McDavid. It's defensively because like, granted, I've never skated against probably someone as fast as him, but I've skated, some of these kids that we like Blaze, some kids who were like
really fast
kids. And like to gap up against them, like it's tough, but it was like doable. It seems like some of these NHL defensemen like totally lose like their skill when these guys like that are
level. I do think he's another level.
It's like crazy. Like some of these guys that like look like they've never even gapped up on a player before.
Yeah, I do think I think McDavid is another level of speed. I mean, and his linear speed, the way he changes speed, like just looking at his statistics here.
Or they like overcommit like way too easily against him. But it's like, I don't know though. I mean, it's probably
let's look at his last here we go. Connor McDavid's last 5 games. Ready?
Oh, he's right.
He had a goal and an assist. He had a goal and 2 assists. He had 2 assists. He had 2 goals and an assist. He had 3 shots, 1 shot, 7 shots, 7 shots again, 2 shots. He's doing all of this in 21 minutes of ice time.
Wow.
Like that, like,
dude.
Here we go. Here's his last 7 seasons. 108 points, 116 points. In the COVID year, where there was 64 games, he had 97 points. Followed by, wait, this gets better. In 56 games, which I actually think this was the COVID year, but it's kind of like overlapping. Remember that?
Yeah.
In 56 games, he had 105 points.
Oh.
Then we had in 80 games, 123. 80 games, 123 points.
What's he at right now? He's got
in 73 games. He has 139 points. He has eight
children out there, pretty much.
9 games left. In 9 games to get to 150 points.
He might.
He could get. I mean, he's averaging 2 points a game.
Pace. Yeah, he's on pace.
He could get 160.
Oh,
he could get 160.
Do you think it's like us playing against like a 14-year-old?
For him, I don't know what it is. His shooting percentage. Shooting percentage is 19. 19% of his shots go in. He's taken 316 shots this year. 19% are going in.
That's unreal. I wonder who's the second in the league in scoring.
Or scoring?
Or like points. We'll just say points. Or you could do scoring. Do scoring.
So goals.
Yeah, do goals.
Okay. So pulling up the goals right now, we have at number 1 an outstanding Connor McDavid at 139 points. For goals, he has 60. All right. Points now, number 2, Leon Draisaitl, 112. Goals, he has 45. So he's in the top 5 for goals.
Go to his shooting percentage.
Leon Draisaitl is shooting.
I'm curious to know like
This is interesting. His shooting percentage, 20.3% of his shots are going in.
All right, go to the third. I need to know I need a range here. Like, who's the third?
Okay.
Go third.
Yeah, I think these are outliers. Like these. Okay. So points, Nikita Kucherov.
These are like the elite scores.
Nikita Kucherov at 102. He's not even in the top 10 of goals. So this will be interesting to see where he is.
I want to see like someone like him. Like he's a good goal scorer.
He's not even in the. Oh gosh, I must be messing this up. Who am I looking for? Kucherov. He's got
that many assists.
Yeah, it must be. He's got.
Holy shit!
Wow. Oh my gosh, he has 28 goals and 74 assists for a shooting percentage of 11.
Okay, right. And
so that's a little bit more like it.
We'll say he's like, in quotes, middle of the road goal scorer, not points.
Yeah,
like
24.
Like 28 goal, or 24 goals.
He has 74 assists, and that's still 5 less than McDavid at 79. And McDavid leads both categories.
He has 60. Wow.
And he has 60 goals. He's touching the puck so much.
Yeah. I
I'd love to see his time with the puck
20, right, like in the 21 minutes he's averaging, like
what
how much of it is puck time?
What do you think the most points defenseman is? The most points defenseman. You don't need to say the name. Just where do you think that number is?
Point-wise total, I want to say it's 84.
Good guess. It's 90, which is how much more than the next person. This is going to be
for D.
Yes.
Oh, I bet
so somebody. A defenseman has somebody. Carlson has 90 points. What do you think the second person has?
I'm getting kind of good at the NHL talk. I've been paying attention to it more. I've been watching highlights and stuff.
Listeners are loving this because you don't get this.
No, we don't. Okay, second, I'm going to say point-wise 62 points.
69. He has 21 more points than the next person. That's impressive. Josh Morrissey on the Winnipeg Jets.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting one.
That is.
Rookie points is 50.
Points. That's a lot. For
rookie points is It's impressive. It's really impressive.
Those guys 90
are insane. Points. 90 points. Eric Carlson, let's look at his. I want to look here.
He hasn't had like in his past couple of years. How many points has he had?
This is his best year in a long time. Last year, he had 35 points in 50 games, 22 and 52, 40 and 56, 45 and 53, 62 and 71, 71 and 77. In 2015, he had 82 and 82. That was his highest. Now he has 90 and 73.
Oh, so he's played up. So he was those middle years. He must have been battling injuries.
Yes, he had
COVID.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, there was a lot going on. Here's a
plus
good one.
Trade, right? Trade in there.
Who leads? This isn't right. Come on, update your statistics. Oh, there we go. Who leads the NHL in shots?
Ooh.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
That is a very good one. I I don't even know where to get McDavid.
Boston Bruins, David Pastrnak at 343 shots.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
343. McDavid's number 2.
Well, okay, real quick. Can we look up team shots or no? Team total shots? This will be our last thing because we're just going on a stat tangent.
Yeah, but I feel like here we go. Shots. I guess it's shots per game.
Okay, so it's averaged out, right?
Yes, essentially, it's averaged out over all the games.
Boston
right,
number 1.
Nope. Now, number 1
Carolina.
is the Florida Panthers. Burr, my hometown. Let's go. 36.9. They do put a lot on that.
Wow.
36.
Where are they in the standings?
They are fighting for a wild card spot against Pittsburgh. That's without me looking at the stats. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So they have the most shots per game, but they're still
the most shots per game.
Playoff
39. Spot. Oh wait, actually, wait a second. Shots against per game. Who do you think it is? It's the Anaheim Ducks. Blackhawks are bigger. Blackhawks are
dude, sober. Look at their penalty kill percentages and stuff. It's atrocious.
Penalty kill percentage. The Blackhawks are,
I think, just like general those bottom of the team, like those bottom barrel, like their penalty kill percentages are atrocious. It's tough to watch.
Shots per game.
Not that I watch them.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Does that wrap up episode 12 of the No One Told Me Hockey podcast?
That does. That was a hockey-filled podcast.
A lot of hockey.
Yeah. I think it's good too to kind of cover some different, cover college hockey, cover NHL hockey, kind of get a little different mix in there. So, yeah,
absolutely.
I'm personally rooting for Quinnipiac to win it all.
I would love Quinnipiac. I got a nice buddy on their team. I'm hoping that they win.
Me too. I got a good buddy on that team, so I'm hoping for them to win.
That would be awesome.
We'll see. Have they not won a national championship?
They have been close. They lost to North Dakota in the championship. They've been they've been in the Frozen Four a couple times the last 10 years. Yeah.
I think I heard on that watching the game today that they're the only team still left that hasn't won a national championship. But that might not be true because depends.
Yeah, I don't know it depends. A lot of crossovers, but I think maybe the only team left in the in the bracket. You mean
right in the bracket who hasn't won a national championship?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to check that.
Okay, well. Regardless, I got to go win a championship for my men's league.
You go win a championship, put pucks on net, think the game, analyze it as it's coming to you.
I'm gonna test the theory. I'm gonna try to be super conscious out there today.
Let's go.
I'll probably forget like 5 minutes in when I can't breathe, but
and if you're out there, your brain's gonna be on overfry.
Yeah, dude.
And if you're driving out there, if you look out for tires, if you're driving. Enjoy, be safe, and we will see you for episode 13 coming up soon.
All right. Talk to you later, Fletch.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See ya.